Episode 1, The Mysterious Calling. The sun hung lazily over the green hills of Ikot Udo, casting a golden hue over the thick rainforest that surrounded the small village. Birds chirped in the distance, their songs blending with the rhythmic pounding of pestles against mortars. Life in Ikot Udo was peaceful, yet 18-year-old Item felt restless. There was a call in his spirit, one he could neither explain nor ignore. For weeks, he had been having the same dream. A long, winding road stretched before him, vanishing into the horizon. A distant voice called his name, whispering, "Your destiny awaits beyond the hills." But what destiny? What lay beyond the hills, Item? Why do you always stare at the sky as if the answers are there? His mother Ikoet teased, setting down a pot of freshly made Afang soup. "I'm just thinking, Ma," Item replied, forcing a smile. But deep inside, he knew the truth. Something was pulling him away from Ikot Udo. That evening, as the village square buzzed with laughter and stories by the fire, an old traveler arrived. His hair was grey like the mist over the Cross River, and his eyes held the wisdom of 100 seasons. He carried a staff carved with ancient symbols, and when he spoke, the wind seemed to listen. "Who among you is ready for a journey of 1,000 miles?" the old man asked, his voice deep and commanding. The villagers chuckled. 1,000 miles. Who would leave home for such madness? Someone mocked. But Item's heart pounded. He felt an invisible force pushing him forward. Before he could stop himself, he stood up. "I am," he said firmly. A hush fell over the crowd. His mother gasped. "Item, sit down," she pleaded, the old man's gaze locked onto Item's. He nodded as if he had been expecting this moment. "Then prepare yourself, young one. Your journey begins at dawn." That night, sleep eluded Item. His mind raced with questions. Where was he going? Why had the old man come now? Was this the destiny he had dreamed of? As the first rays of sunlight touched Ikot Udo, Item knew there was no turning back. Whatever lay beyond the hills, he had to find out. Episode 2, A New Beginning, A Hidden Truth. The sun was already high when Item arrived at the edge of a vast river. The old traveler had vanished at dawn, leaving only a whispered instruction: follow the river. Your new life begins beyond the waters. Item's heart pounded as he gazed at the flowing water. Across the river, he could see a village, larger than Ikot Udo, with tall palm trees swaying above rooftops made of red clay. The air smelled of roasted plantains and fresh fish. This was Ikpa Iten, a place he had only heard of in stories. A wooden canoe was tied to a post near the shore. An old fisherman sat beside it, chewing on a stick of sugarcane. He eyed Item curiously. "Young man, are you lost?" Item hesitated before shaking his head. "I need to cross the river." The fisherman studied him for a moment before spitting out the sugarcane fiber. "Ikpa Iten is not a place for wanderers." "What do you seek there?" Item thought about the answer. A new life. A fresh start. The meaning of his dreams. He had nothing left in Ikot Udo, and yet thought he felt something pulling him toward this village. "I am searching for my purpose," he finally said. The old fisherman chuckled. "Then you are braver than most." He patted the canoe. "Get in." A village with secrets, Ikpa Iten was unlike anything Item had imagined. The people moved with quiet urgency, their faces focused but unreadable. Women carried heavy baskets of yams and peppers to the market square, while men sat under large Udola trees, carving wooden masks and sculptures. As Item walked through the village, he noticed something odd. Whispers followed him. People turned to stare, their eyes filled with curiosity, some even with suspicion. He caught snippets of conversation. "He looks just like him. Do you think he knows? What if it's true?" Item's stomach tightened. Who were they talking about? Before he could ask anyone, a hand grabbed his wrist. He turned sharply to see a young woman, no older than himself, her dark eyes searching his face. "You shouldn't have come here," she whispered urgently. Item pulled his arm away, confused. Why? What's going on? She glanced around before lowering her voice. Meet me by the big baobab tree at sunset. I will tell you everything. Before he could respond, she slipped away into the crowd, vanishing as quickly as she had appeared. Etham's heart raced. He had come here looking for a new life. But it seemed Ikpa Aiten already knew who he was, and he had no idea why.